In today's Pitchless Selling training short, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, overcoming objections, but we're going to approach this a little bit differently. We're not going to talk about overcoming objections. We're going to talk about beating objections. And when I say beating, I don't mean overcoming. I don't mean having responses to objections. I mean getting objections on our terms, on your terms. Get objections when you want them and respond in a way that you know works best. So here's the first thing I'm going to say about this. First and foremost, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you checking out this video. Hope it adds some value for you. I'm really passionate about helping salespeople achieve life-changing success, the type of results that I've seen from sales careers and I've seen other people have. So I'm here today to try to help you make as much money as you can and be as successful as you can and learn some things along the way. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and share it with somebody else that you think it could benefit. Let's help change their lives as well. So, beating objections is very simple. First and foremost, I want you to understand that objections are not something you should run from. Objections are something that every salesperson gets. The difference between people who are good at handling objections and bad at handling objections are the people who are good at handling objections come prepared. They are prepared for the objections, and most importantly, they're not scared of them. In fact, I'm going to take that a step further in this video, and I'm going to talk about how people who are great at managing objections, at beating objections, are great because they get them, they look for them, they want the objections, but they want them on their terms. And that's what I'm going to teach you to do today. So, we talk about beating objections. This is a 3-step process, 3 steps to beating objections. The first step, first and foremost, this is 100% on you, okay? I don't care how long you've been doing it. I don't care how long you've been selling what you're selling. I don't care how long you've been in sales at all. Understand, step 1 is you have to know your objections, okay? So, you should have a lot of objections that either you're aware of or that you have seen that you keep getting over and over again, right? Those objections should never catch you off guard. There are also standard sales objections that every salesperson gets. You should just know that those are objections. Or again, the same thing goes for roadblocks, things that are going to get in the way of you actually making the sale or getting the deal across the finish line or whatever it is, right? There are standard things that you have to do, objections that you have to overcome, roadblocks you have to get through, all of those things, whether it's something you hear over and over and over again, or it's just something that you know is part of any sales process, there are standard objections that should never ever catch you off guard. So know your objections. What you can do here is make a list. Anytime you get a new objection or something stumps you or something you haven't heard before, write it down, create a list. What is the list of your most common objections? Start with that, okay? Understand that the more things that you can put on the list, the better that you will be at overcoming those, at getting through those roadblocks. So, create the list. That's step 1, know your objections. Step 2, all right, let's go on the offensive. Ask the question, okay? Let's go on the offensive with these. Let's go on the attack mode. Let's look for these objections. If we're at a certain point in the conversation, the sales conversation, where we know maybe it's rolling to the close, maybe it's asking for the business, maybe it's somewhere in the process where we know that there's a common roadblock or a common objection. Let's not wait for the prospect to say it. Let's not just, hope they don't say it. Let's ask, right? Let's ask the question. So if you know, for example, from your discovery that there are other people involved in the decision-making process, right? As you're going to go to the close, maybe you should get out in front of this and ask the question about what are the other people going to care about? Or why would the other people not want to do this? Why would the other people involved in the decision-making process not want to go through with going with our product or service? What issues do you think those other people are going to have? Those are some examples. The point is, ask the question. Get the objection when you want it. You know what the common objections are. You've got your list, right? So based on your list, go through now and create questions that you can ask to get these objections drawn out of the prospects when you want them. All right? You need to know what the objections are, and then you need to go on the offensive and ask them. There's two reasons that this is helpful. Number one, it'll actually show the prospect. This goes a really long way in establishing yourself as an expert, giving yourself credibility, because it shows the prospect that you understand the process, you understand them, you understand the business, and you understand what it takes to get a deal done or to help them solve their problems. This is amazing if you actually come to them and make them think critically about things that they hadn't thought about. And that's the other reason that asking the questions is good. Not only are you establishing yourself as an expert, but you're getting things out of the way now when you want to get it out of the way with far ahead of time, rather than it coming up at a bad time when you don't want it to come up. For instance, when you're asking for the business and now all of a sudden this objection came up that could have completely been avoided, or you could have completely gotten it out of the way far sooner had you asked the question, okay? So be on the lookout throughout your process, throughout your sales conversation. Know the objections, know the issues, the roadblocks, and then be aware. When you need to, ask the question. Call it out. And then, of course, the third thing, and this is pretty standard, but this is be prepared to respond. Okay, so the worst thing you could do here is, you know the objection, you call it out and you ask the question, but then you're not prepared to actually have a good, genuine, curious conversation about it and then suggest a solution. See, a lot of times, objection handling, the best way to go through objection handling is suggesting a solution, or again, overcoming that objection, right? So if you don't have a response ready, well, now the egg's on your face. Now all the credibility that you gained is gone, right? Or being able to actually solve that problem, well, now it's not good because you're the one who brought it up, you asked the question, and now you can't help them come up with an answer, right? So be prepared to respond. Help them think through the next steps. Help them think through what needs to happen to get everyone else on board in the decision-making process. What happens if someone isn't in agreement? What do we do then, right? Be prepared with how to respond. And the same thing goes with objections in general, right? If you have a list of common objections, you should also have a list of ways that you can solve those problems or ways you can overcome those objections. So to put a bow on this whole thing, beating objections, we also call it here at Pitchless Selling, we call it handling objections, because it's not about overcoming an objection. It's about beating them to the punch. It's about getting there before them, and it's about handling the objection. It's best if you can get an objection when you want it and not just have it come up on their terms. There are several reasons that that's beneficial. Like I said, it shows you that you're the expert. It shows that you care and you know what it takes to get a deal through the finish line. You know how to actually help them. So these are the 3 steps. Know your objections, ask the question. Of course, don't shy away from it. Ask the question and then be prepared to respond. That is the best way for you to handle objections. So next time you're in a sales conversation, hopefully you've done this exercise between now and then. Do this short exercise, make a list, keep your list, and then ask the questions. Be prepared with a list of questions, be prepared with responses. Do this activity, do this exercise, and next time you're in a sales conversation, go on the offensive. Get the objections when you want them, and be prepared to help people overcome those on your terms. All right, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this Pitchless Selling sales training short video today. As I said before, if you did like it, go ahead and share it with someone else. Help them change their lives. And if you don't mind, like the video. Last, I will tell you, we've got a lot of these coming out and a lot of other content throughout our other channels. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future Pitchless Selling sales training shorts. Thanks a lot for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Be great.